All right, running a little ahead of schedule today. We have the illustrious Chris Crozier from Mobile Mentors popping right in. And here he is.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you really, really well, Chris. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic today. Thank you so much for asking.
Did you dress up for us?
I did not, unfortunately. I actually feel like I'm very casual today with a ball cap on and a polo. I usually end up having like a white shirt and a tie or something like that. But today, I've got a few appointments where I need to be a little bit more mobile and I need to bend down and clean up wires and cables and things like that. So it's a little bit more casual today. So
is that what the mobile mentors means?
That is one of the pieces, but the other part is the fact that we actually come to you, whereas you don't have to come to us. And so you don't have to come to some stuffy computer store and tell them, well, at my house, it does this. And they're like, well, it doesn't do that here. And you're like, well, it does at my house. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's kind of like when you take your car to the mechanic and you're like, it keeps making this noise. And then when you get there, it doesn't make the noise. But if the mechanic just came over to your house, then he'd be able to hear it. And so what I do is I like to be the mechanic that comes over to your house and I find out, oh, maybe it's actually just this here plug needs to be redone.
It's the router from 2010 that you're still using.
Yeah, we'll just fix it up with a new router, or we'll just get you something fancier, and you'll be on your way.
So what are we talking about today, Chris?
Today we have a wide variety of questions that hopefully will be submitted in. Looking at you guys, whoever's attending. But also what we're going to be talking about is word processing tools. And that doesn't just mean Microsoft Office, which is Word, but we're going to be talking about Google Docs. We're going to be talking about Pages. We're going to be talking about even notes that are on Apple devices. But if you have an Android device, there's a note-taking app in there as well. But we're going to be talking about a wide variety of those things.
Okay.
I probably will go pretty fast just because it's a lot of stuff to cover. But who knows? Maybe I'll slow it down. Maybe not. Just depends on what's going on and who's asking questions, who's talking to me. Give me some things to work off of. But yeah, that's what's going on today.
All right. You want me to stick around?
Do you, David, have anything in particular that you would like to learn?
Not 100% yet. I think once I hear you talk, you'll inspire me a little bit.
All right.
One thing that always bothers me is that if I'm doing a document on Word or if I'm doing a document on Google, the tools to operate those are not the same. And it's very frustrating to me to have to like get in these two different mindsets. And that doesn't even include Pages, which I also have. You know, Chris, I think we may have you or myself going through a tunnel right now.
You broke up there for a second.
Okay, I'm the one going through the tunnel. Okay, gotcha. You know, we pay for this nice internet up here. I may need to have a mobile expert come here and tell me why it's not working correctly.
Maybe you do.
That's enough about me. I'm going to take myself out. Do you want me to stick around?
I just want to ask you just one or two more questions, if that's all right with you.
Oh, I'll stick around as long as you want. I got nowhere to be.
Let's see. So for me, it's when you're using your Word documents on a daily basis, what does that look like for you? Do you find that it's difficult because you're switching through different programs and that different people use different programs, and so you kind of have to associate with those people and what they're using and things like that?
That is definitely what's going on.
Okay.
You know, if I have to format a Word document and then I need to convert it to a PDF and then I need to reformat it, or if I'm
Mm,
typing something up on Google and then I save it as a Word document and it doesn't save how I wanted it, so now I have to go in and the controls are different, my mind is just blown. I barely want to do the work in the first place.
for sure, for sure. Now the age old thing that's happening currently is people are wrapped up and they're just stuck in their way of saying Microsoft Word is the only thing that I can use. It's the only thing I feel comfortable with. It's the only thing that I know that works for me. But you've never tried anything else. And so for me, I'm thinking like, wait a second, you just told me that you can't work on anything else and Microsoft Word is the only thing that works. And then I'll ask you questions on it and you don't know how it works. And I'm just thinking like there's something way better for you out there. You just haven't unlocked it yet.
There
And
must
so
be a better way.
yes, 100%. And so like I always like to use the terminology. Um, you've been eating chicken nuggets, but you've never tried filet mignon, and you're just worried that this isn't good enough, and it just looks different, and so you're not willing to try it out. And so this actually will give you the opportunity to look at these different programs, see if that's something that's going to fit your lifestyle, see if that's going to fit something when it comes to how intuitive it is or how easy it is to use. So I would highly recommend sticking around, asking some questions. I'd love to help you out however I can. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into a few different ones, and then I'll probably call you back, David, just to show you a few different things. And we'll kind of decide what's the best one for you. I have my choice, but that's me, and I'm a little hard headed at times, but just at times. But yeah, I'm going to pop off, and I'm going to show a few different things that's out there, and hopefully people will start asking questions and start telling me how handsome I look today and how good a job I'm doing. You know,
Well,
who
I'll
knows?
keep that off.
Who
You
knows?
look handsome today, and you're doing a great job.
Man,
Um,
I love that. This is the best.
I have a preferred program, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. I want to see after this if it's still my preferred program, and then I'll tell you about it at the end.
Interesting. Okay, great, wonderful. So
All
what
right,
I'm going to do
let's
is
do
I'm
that.
going to go in and I am going to start sharing my screen,
All right.
and I am going to. I'm going to first start off with telling you guys what we're looking at. So a lot of people will tell me, Christopher, I don't have Microsoft Office. I don't have any of these other features. I don't have the things that I want because what came with my computer doesn't seem to be what I really need, or it doesn't seem to have the Microsoft Office that I'm used to. And so some of the new computers aren't coming with Microsoft Office. So you'll buy a computer that's Windows 10 that you spend $600, $700 on, and then you go, oh, well, now I've got to go buy this program, or now I've got to go buy that program, and now I've got to buy all of these different things, and it comes out to being a whole lot more expensive than you thought it would be. So what I'm showcasing on the screen here is the prices of what you're going to be looking at if you were to buy Microsoft Office today. And so I'm going to give you a breakdown of what those prices look like. And then that way you can feel a little bit more comfortable with what you're buying, what your dollars are going to. So now what a lot of people will do is they'll buy the one-time purchase product. And you can do that. And I'll show you what that price looks like. If we go to this section right here. Now we can see that there's 3 sections. And on those 3 sections, there are Microsoft 365 for the family, and it's $100 a year, or you can buy it at $10 a month. There's Microsoft 365 Personal, which is $70 a year or $7 a month. Then there is Microsoft Office Home and Student 2019, which is $150. Now, I'm sure you're asking, Christopher, why does it say 2019? And I'll tell you, because most of the time they won't update it to a certain new one until after 3 or 4 years. So you're going to pay $150 for an older program, and it stays that older program. You don't get updates. You don't get anything like that. You just get what's listed there. But you can use it forever until they stop supporting it. So then if you look at the other ones, if you're going to get Microsoft Office 365, I highly recommend that you get one that's going to be best for your family. If you need for more than one person, go with the $100 option. You're going to save $20 in the process, and you're going to have that for the year. If you are a personal one and you want it just for your computer, I recommend getting the $70 version. Now, the reason why I tell you that is because Microsoft Office 365 allows you to pick and choose where you want to use that device, whether that be on a tablet, whether you want it to be on your phone, which I know it's crazy to think about, but you'll find out that there's more cases that you want to use Microsoft Office 365 than other just your computer. And you'll see why later on, but we'll talk about that. But now what's also great is it comes with the whole Office suite. It comes with Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, OneDrive, and we'll get into OneDrive and what that means a little bit later. We can even do a lesson on that if that's something that you guys are interested in. So then with all of those different things that you get in that particular package, it also gives you the ability to access it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, or your computer. So for me, seeing that as a whole is a benefit to me, but also knowing that as a new update comes out, or let's say Microsoft Office 2022 comes out, when I'm paying for it on a yearly basis, it automatically updates me to the newer version. I don't have to go out and spend $150 on something. I don't have to go out and spend whatever because I'm already paying for it and I'm already getting those updates. So I think buying that Office 365 personal, either by the monthly or the yearly subscription, the yearly is going to give you the best bang for your buck. But that is what I would recommend personally for if you're going to use Microsoft Office. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is Google Docs. Now, Google Docs are actually free. So instead of paying a ton of money, or $70 or $100 or $150 or $70 a year, remember that if you've been tuning in, you've probably seen my talk on Gmail. Now, Gmail actually has something built into it. And part of the Gmail suite is something called Google Docs. Now, I can show you what that looks like. Let me log into mine real quick. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to share this other tab. And so now we've got this here. Now, if you notice, I'm going to move my cursor and it should get a little bit bigger so you guys can see where it's at. And I'm going to click right over here where it's got those 9 dots. Those indicate my Google apps. Now, when I click on those Google apps, I can scroll down and see a wide variety of different things that I have for. Now, you probably heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. If we click on Google Docs here, we're going to open it up. Now, I know you probably saw like Google Sheets and Slides, which is Google's version of Excel and PowerPoint, and you already have access to those things. It's not something extra you have to pay for. And what's good about it is you can access it from your phone, your tablet, any of your other devices for free. You don't have to pay a monthly fee. And the other thing is it works with everybody else's stuff. Everybody else has the ability to access Google Docs. So I can click here on starting a new document, but what kind of document do I want to do? So if I click on Template Gallery, I can see a whole list of resumes, letters, personal work, like all sorts of things here, sales, human resources, education. All of these different things are already there and they're already built in. But what I want to do today is I just want to start off with a blank sheet. That's typically what we're going to use, a blank sheet. We want to start off something. We want to put in a recipe. We want to put in a sermon. We want to put in anything that we want. We've got it all right there. So now, if you're looking at this, you're probably thinking, dang, Christopher, this, let me switch this over so you can see this screen. Let's see. Probably thinking, dang, Christopher, that looks just like Microsoft Word. That looks just like it. I mean, it's even got the toolbar on there. So what I want to do is I'm going to ask David, he can take me off the screen, and I'm just going to have this blown up as big as possible. And that way you can see just that. So we're going to go right over here, and we can see that we've got a whole list of stuff right here. So we can we can print directly here. We've got a paint format. We've got the ability to make our font sizes bigger, bold, italics, underline. We can change the color of the text. It looks exactly the same as all the other ones look like. And if you don't believe me, let me just pull up what Microsoft Office looks like. I appreciate y'all being patient with me. So now if we come log out of this, and I will show you guys. Oh man, look at that. Microsoft Office. If we look at the top, we can see the same thing that we've seen before. We look here, we've got our insert, our file, our layout. What's this? Paint format, just like we saw on Google Docs. We can make the size bigger. We can make the font larger. We can do bold, italics, underline. We can do all of the same things right here that we could do right on Google Docs. So, I mean, my thing to you is asking, what is it specifically that you're looking for? What's the thing that you're saying, I want this, and it's going to make things easier for me? Now, we've gone through Google Docs, we've gone through Microsoft Word, and we're going to dive deeper into some of those. But what I want to show you is what's the easiest thing to use as well. And so I'm also going to show you another one. I'm getting you a lot of stuff, but I think you'll be interested in this next one. So I'm going to go and pull up. Let's see. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit off this guy. And I am going to share this screen instead. And now that I've got this in here, I can show you, hey, this is what it looks like for me. So I'll log into my iCloud.com, which I can do from any computer. And I have a program called Pages. And I know a lot of people are going to say, Christopher, I don't have Pages. I don't have iCloud. I don't have a whole variety of different things. Even iCloud on my computer, I just don't have those things. And I'd say, well, do you have a computer? They say, yeah. Well, then you can get Pages. It doesn't matter if it's an Android. It doesn't matter if it's a Mac or a PC. Now, the other thing is people will say, well, I don't have an iPhone. Good, you don't need it. You can put this on your Android. You have the ability to use it across any platform. And so that's one of the reasons why I want to show it to you as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. I'm going to continue. And I'm going to go ahead and start a new document. And the way I do that is I can click this little plus button. Start a new document. Whenever I switch tabs, it always makes me put in a new tab, so it makes it a little bit difficult. So what I'll do is I'm actually just going to show you on my whole screen. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to share my whole screen so you guys can see everything. Share my entire screen. Perfect. So I'm going to come here and I can look at my iCloud currently. So if I go there, I can see I have a whole list of different ones that are there. So I have got a blank landscape. Even if I want to use a black background on something, if I want to do note taking, reports, monthly reports, all sorts of things. Now, first I'm going to show you, let's see. First, I'm going to show you this modern report. David, why don't you come back in here real quick? I want to talk to you real quick.
All right, here we are.
David, tell me this, David. When you're doing a report and it pulls up on your screen and let's say you've got it all typed out, right? What happens if you need to insert a picture?
Well, it depends, right? But I think in your classic, you can sometimes have the two windows, and you can drag something in, and then you got to kind of play with the settings, or you that insert button at the top, and then you go through your files and you type in the name, and then you click it, and then you click upload, right?
For sure.
What are we doing here?
Well, what we're doing here is I wanted to show you what happens when you're using Pages. So can you still see my screen well?
Yep.
All right. So right here we have a report, and I can title this David's report. Save it. Boom. Sent there. Now it looks a little different. People are like, I don't know about this whole Pages thing. It looks different. But if I click right here and I go to change something, I can open up this little guy right over here. And now I've got my bold, my italics, my underline, my alignment. My entire toolbar has just been moved to the right-hand side. And now when I don't need that toolbar, I can click and move it out of the way.
Now, that's why you like Pages.
Well, I like Pages for a lot of reasons. And this reason that I'm going to show you is the reason for me that I think it is the coolest thing that's out there. It is the creme de la creme to me. This. I'm gonna go ahead and ruin the surprise, guys. This is what I like more than all of them. This is what I use. This is what I convinced somehow my family to use. It is the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas. This is the coolest feature. So what that is, so I'm going to click on this photo. When I click on the photo, let's say, you know, I don't really like the way that this blue background is in it. So there's this thing called Instant Alpha. So what it does is you can click on a color and make it transparent. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this color, and I want to make all of this kind of disappear. So I'll get rid of this here. Get rid of some of this blue. Now, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but when I did that, it made the words come up here. Do you notice that?
I did see that. What's that all about?
Huh. Now, what it did was it made it transparent so the words can now fit over it. But now the thing is, if I click right here, I can click arrange, and I want my text to wrap around this thing.
Huh.
And I go, you know what? That's pretty cool. I don't know too many cases when I would use that, but I have had a lot of instances where I'm using a Microsoft Word document or a Google Doc document, and I go to move a picture at any point on this thing. And what happens?
It changes everything.
It changes everything. Your margins go all over the place. Things are dropped down. You have to move everything just a smidge. Now, what happens when I click on this picture and I move it? It moves with me. It sets up the way I want it to be set up. So I have a whole lot of features and a whole lot of things that I can do, but just knowing that the fact that I am more in control and that it works with me makes everything easier. So now I can make sure it's lined up. I've seen this line over here on this left-hand side. I can make sure that everything is spelled the right way. I've got all of these different forms and functions and things that I can do. I actually had a guy named Jeff Foley. You may have heard of him. Brigadier General in the military, and he came to me and he had a book that he wanted to use, but he was using Microsoft Word, and he had lost about 50 pages of this book and he couldn't find them. He switched over to Pages, and all of his things were in order. Things that were missing were found, and he had the ability to find them just by switching to a different program. Now, David, you had brought up to me earlier, you said, Christopher, I don't like the fact that when I'm using a program, that this program tells me, hey, you've got to send this in a PDF, and you've got to send this in a Word document, and you've got to send this here. And it just makes things really difficult. Now, if everybody's using Pages, there's actually a little button right up here that says collaborate. And I can send this to people and we can work on a project together and make sure it's just right. But now, if I go up here to File, I can click Export To, and it gives me PDF, Word, Pages 09, ePublisher, plain text. So if I want to send this off to people, I have the ability to send this off directly to a PDF and send it to whoever needs to see it. I don't have to worry that they don't have Pages or they don't have Google Drive or Google Docs or Microsoft Word or whatever it is. I've got all of these options right here.
So this is interesting. I have a Mac, Chris, similar to you. My Mac came with Pages.
Correct.
If you don't have a Mac, I know that you can download it from your iCloud profile. Is it free?
It is free. So
you have to pay for?
Nothing you have to pay for. You can go to iCloud.com, or you can Google search iCloud on PC and actually have it downloaded to your computer for free. So you would have all the abilities of iCloud directly on your computer. You would have the ability to use Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, which is Apple's version of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, all for free. Now, the other thing is that also means you have the ability to download the apps. Now, if you have an iPhone, you would have the ability to download those apps to the iPhone. If you don't have those, I am not sure. I do not believe they have made any supported apps for them. Now, a quick story for me is when I was in college, I had a professor who told me, Christopher, you did a great job on this paper, but unfortunately, I can only give you an 80. And I said, an 80? She said, yeah. And I said, why is that? And she said, it's because um, it's because you did not provide a cover letter. And I said, huh? So I said, oh, no, 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 no. I have a cover letter. And I said, but my printer just wasn't working at the time. Could I print it off here? And she said, of course you could. She said, but it has to be right after class. So I know you did it. And I said, yes, ma'am. So then I pulled out my phone and I pulled up Pages on my phone, created a cover letter right in Pages. And because of it, I was able to print directly from my phone. So that goes to even give you guys the insight that, let's say that a few of my clients, they love making recipes. They love it. And I love it too, because they share them with me and I get to make good stuff. And so oftentimes I'm like, hey, can you send that to me? Can you do these things for me? Can you tell me about this or anything like that? And they're like, it's in a Word document and I don't have my computer with me. If I'm able to make something on my phone, it automatically syncs. Now, when I was in college, I started using Microsoft Office, and I would work on a project or a paper for like 3-4 hours, and my battery would die and I'd lose all my work, or something would happen with the internet and my computer would shut down or whatever it is, and I'd lose all my information, or something wouldn't save the right way. And I'm sure we've all had those horror stories. But one of the things that iCloud or Pages has recently done since it's come out, which has been since 2009, 2008, something like that. But one of the neat things that it does is when you make a different keystroke, when you change a color or a letter or whatever it may be, it automatically saves it every time. And so you never lose it. So what's been great is I've been working on a project. My computer died. I had to go somewhere else. I was able to pull up my phone and start working on it right there. And let's say that I have a great idea or a great novel idea, whatever I want to create. I could then take that information, start typing it up. And then by the time I get to my computer, it is already there for me. And so I would highly recommend that you guys check out Pages. I think it would be wonderful for you. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to touch base on really quickly is notes. And so a lot of people, they don't really need to write this whole long thing, or they want a specific just checklist or something to use instead of pulling up some big word processing file. And that for me, I was like, oh, you could just use Pages, or you could just use this. And they were like, yeah, but I don't really need that. And I was like, okay, well, what's a good alternative? What's a good substitute? So now with people having smartphones today, almost every phone has a notes application. Now I'm going to show you the one that comes on iPhones, because that's one of the things that I have. Plus, it's different, as I said in the last message that I did last week, but it's different for each different phone that's on the Android platform. So they won't be the same.
They kind of look similar, right? Like the way you use them is pretty similar.
The way you use them is pretty similar, but I want to make sure that I highlight the features that are going to be the same across all the platforms. So I can go in and I can show you guys what Notes looks like, and then see if that's something that would be beneficial to you guys. I use Notes quite often. I think it's a great beneficial feature, but I'm going to go ahead and pull up my notes, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys.
Yeah, I use Notes every day, Chris.
It's great. It is fantastic. So now if we look at Notes, what I'm going to do is actually keep a list of things about my girlfriend that I could possibly do for her, or buy her gifts and stuff. So don't hate me. I'm slightly a romantic. But what I did was I clicked this button right up here at the top. I'm going to make my screen full screen so you guys can see that a little bit better. Right up here at the top, there's a little square with a line going through it, and it's supposed to symbolize a pencil and composing a note.
Well, that's what that's supposed to be.
So what I can do is I can start typing. Now, what you'll notice is when I start typing, I can say David Dash Generations Unlimited. And so when I go to do that, if you notice on this left-hand side, it takes whatever is the first line and it makes that the title. So whatever you want the title to be, go ahead and put that in, because then once you start going down, it makes the font a lot smaller. Now, a lot of people can say, oh, I just need to write something down, or I need to get something off my chest, or maybe I need to remember a number or a recipe or whatever it may be. You have that ability. What I also like to do is there's a little button right up here at the top. And what it does is it actually makes a checklist for me. So I can say eggs, milk, not milk, bread, cheese, not Jesse, cheese. Oh, get over here. Do it again. There it is, cheese. And then I can do Alfredo sauce. So now I've got everything that I want there. And so when I come back to it, I can actually click on these things as I get them in the store. And now I already have my grocery checklist.
Chris, do you know I do one of those like every single week and make a to-do list for myself and then just go through it and knock things out? It makes me feel really good.
I did not know that, but like that's like there's something about making a checklist and having a way to check it off, and it just does something for people. So the other thing is if we're typing something up and I say top secret info, passwords to all of David's accounts. I'm getting ready to put it in. What I can do is I can go in here and I can lock the note. So I can say, yeah, I'm going to lock this note. And that way nobody can get into it. So maybe other people have seen you type in your passwords before. Maybe other people know similar passwords. What you can do is you can type in a specific password just for this one thing. And then you can say, this is a special hint to let you be reminded about it. But I could lock the note. So even if somebody were to get into my phone, they wouldn't be able to find out where I hold my passwords or where I keep my secret family recipe that is from Bush's baked beans. I don't know what you would use it for, but you could do stuff there. Now, a lot of people also put in other things, and people are like, it's just notes. I don't really have a lot to say. But if you go in here, there's actually photos. You can take a photo, and you can even scan a document. And so what I like to do is I can scan a document that will go right into what I've got going on. And I can say, you know what, this is better for me. What do I want to use as a whole? So, David, what would you say is one of the things that you use notes for other than a checklist?
So really what I use notes for is two major things. One is that checklist that gets me through that week, allowing me to feel like I'm being productive. The second one is it really is just a way that I'll put my thoughts down. So if I'm like about to start a project, like let's say I'm going to do something for one of my classes, or maybe we're doing a Facebook strategy for the Facebook stuff for Generations Unlimited. Before I do anything, I just go open a notes document and I'll put all of my thoughts in. I'll be like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, terrible day of the week, worst day of the week for everybody. We're definitely not doing live videos on Monday. Monday, maybe we post some positive stuff on Monday. We kind of get people started off right. And I'll just rethink, put all those thoughts down, and then I'll copy that, and then I'll paste it to something where I can kind of put that in a little bit better of an order. So I almost use it as like a brainstorming thing. Like if I'm ever brainstorming.
So now, David, you have an iPhone, correct?
Yeah.
Well, if you have an iPhone and you're typing things on a Mac, there's a thing called handoff.
Yeah, I love it so much.
So handoff is actually a feature that Apple built that allows you to copy what's on your phone. You can use a feature to copy the stuff that's on your phone, and then you can come to your computer and it will paste it.
Yep.
So when you hit paste, it will paste the stuff that came from your phone or your iPad or any of those features like that. Now, for me, the feature that I love the most about Notes is the scan document photo. Scan document. So let's say that I'm at an event or I'm at a particular place where they had given me a handout. I can then take my phone and scan that document. What I really like to do is I like to do it with my iPad, because then I can pull out the Apple Pencil and kind of mark it up and do whatever I want to on that particular thing.
And I've used that a couple times. So when you say scan, I feel like some people think, or like you might just be like taking a picture of it, but it kind of finds the edges of the paper, right? And it kind of like crops it for you and adjusts it. So it's really like using a scanner that would be on a printer.
Correct. So what it does is it gives you more of a flatter surface. It gives you more of that. It creates it and puts it in like a PDF file so that you have the ability to change it, to do different things, and it doesn't have that picture-esque look to it. And so it's great for a lot of different things. Doing it on a computer is difficult because then they're actually trying to look at your camera that is here. But you can insert tables and charts into your notes if you wish. But if you're doing all that, might be best to head over to like a word processing thing just to get the best bang for your buck. And then I just wanted to say we've got about 20 more minutes left, but I just want to open up the floor for any questions that you guys have, any cool tips or tricks that you'd like to learn, anything like that.
So I have a question.
Okay.
This scan function, if I had like an old photo album and I want
this what?
Oh,
you broke up there. You broke up there for a second.
I'm in a tunnel. That's on me. If I have like an old like photo album, like printed photos that come off of a not a digital camera, can I scan those with the app and like digitize my photos?
You can. They probably won't come out the best possible way.
So there's a better way to do it, probably.
The best possible way would probably be to get a scanner specifically that specializes in that, unless you have like a very clean surface, a very clean background. You've got everything set up the right way. Your hands aren't shaky. You've got like a tripod that's holding it. You're doing different things like that to help you get the best possible look. But when you put something in a specific scanner, that's processing that photo for that specific reason on a flat surface.
Okay.
What I would highly recommend is an Epson all-in-one. If you can go to Walmart, Best Buy, Target, any of those places, they typically carry Epson, especially like Office Depot or Office Max. They actually have an all-in-one device that will scan and go directly to those things. Now, the other thing is recently I came across the statistic that my generation will be the last generation that has printed photos. I believe I mentioned this in a previous video, but there's an app called Chat Books, and that's CHATT Books. And what that does is it gives you the ability to take the photos that you have put on Instagram, the photos that you have taken with your phone, and actually send those off, and they will send you a hard copy book. I think they're pretty cheap, about $15 to $30.
So that's a really good gift idea.
Yeah, great gift idea. But I think that's one of the main focuses and features for me. If I was to show you guys a cool feature, it's kind of difficult with everything set up here. But in Pages, there's actually a feature to where you can annotate your signature and get your signature set up. So I can actually pull up a business card that has, and I can write my signature on it. I can show it to the camera, and it will write my signature out, and I can use that on like signing documents or certain things like that. It's pretty cool.
That's
but
great.
When it comes to a lot of the different features of Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word, it's all in customizing your toolbar and knowing what you're looking to do with it.
So we're not being sponsored by anybody here, but it kind of sounds like you kind of advise people away from Microsoft Word. It sounds like there's a lot of free versions of things like Pages and Google that are, I mean, even potentially better.
I like to point people away from Microsoft usually, depending on what they're using it for. So my job as a whole is just to find what's going to be the best fit for most people. And typically most people are going to be doing super well with Pages. If you're running an office and you've got 40 employees, like one of my clients does, and they just bumped up to 55 employees and opened up a new office and did all these big things, which is great. It means more work for me. But at the same time, what's interesting about it is they need Microsoft Office because they're sending stuff back and forth to a ton of people. A lot of businesses use specifically Microsoft Office and the programs that are in that ensuite. But for the everyday user, for the people who are sitting at home, people who say, hey, what's going to be best for me? Do I want to go out and spend $700 on a computer to then go out and spend another $150 on a license for a program to then go spend another $300 on a warranty to go spend this amount of money? And I go, you've already got something right here at your fingertips that could work better for you. So the other thing is I'm a little bit biased when it comes to certain programs, just because I feel like I've had the best of both worlds. So when I first started working at Apple, I had an Android device. I walked
Uh-oh. You may
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I think one of us got caught in some kind of like massive failure of internet.
Well, might need to come check that out over there at your house. No,
Stuff's going on.
I just feel like I'm a little bit biased because when I went in there, I had an Android and a PC, and I was like, I'll never use Apple products. They're for weirdos and hippies and just people that just don't understand technology. So I went in and I finally, after about 6 months, decided to give an iPhone a try. And it's not that the iPhones are better. It's not that Android's worse. It's not anything like that. Android has a ton of features and they're great phones. But Apple looks at it in a different way and says, hey, what is the simplest, easiest, most intuitive way for people to use a phone? And what's all this other stuff that they're probably never going to use? And how can we kind of keep them focused on one thing? There are phones out there that came out 3-4 years ago that have a 25 megapixel phone camera on their phone. This one still has a 12 megapixel phone. But this iPhone was rated the best phone to take a picture with because they've already incorporated all the settings. You don't have to fool with anything. You don't have to set anything up. When you pull your phone out of your pocket and want to take a picture, you take a good picture. And so the thing about Apple products such as Pages or the notes that we looked at earlier is they've already simplified those things for us. They've already made it in a way that says, hey, this is easy to understand. Back when they made the Apple IIe and they made all these other computers in the older generations, they actually had something on there that said when you got it, there was an instruction booklet, and the instruction booklet was about 100 pages long. And if you're anything like my clients, sorry, my computer's about to die. I don't want to disappear on you guys. But if you're anything like my clients, you probably have gotten one of those books that say Mac for Dummies or PC for Dummies. And you've got another one that says iPad for seniors or whatever it may be. And that book is this big. And since it's this big, it's so intimidating. And no one ever opens it up and no one ever uses it. And I've gone into probably 50 homes, and I've seen out of those 50 homes that have those books, all of them look like they've never been opened. They've been purchased, but they've never been opened.
Collector's items.
And so when a Microsoft computer, when the Windows computer first came out, they sent you a book that was this big, that was the instruction booklet. When an Apple computer came out, they sent you a little pamphlet that was 2-3 pages long. And in the pamphlet, it said, think of the easiest way to do something and try that. If it doesn't work, get up from your computer, walk around for a little bit, and come back and try it again. Those were the instructions, because that's how they made it to work. When you wanted to get rid of something, they created a trash can for you to get rid of it. You want to do all these different things, they made it the easiest possible way. So for me, I think when you're using a product for the everyday consumer, especially a lot of my clients are a little bit elderly. And so what they do is they want something that just works, that's easy to understand. And so for me, I like to point them in that direction. Yes, there's other programs that are out there. Yes, there are programs that can do a ton more stuff. But at the end of the day, is that what we really want? We want something that works.
So spoiler alert, you are a Pages guy.
I am a Pages guy. I highly recommend Pages to everyone. I have it on my phone. I've got it on my iPad. I've got it on my friends' tablets. I've got it all over the place. So
before we came on, I told you that I have a preferred program.
Correct. You did.
My preferred program until this very moment is Google. And so that Google Suite, I use Google Documents. I use Google PowerPoint. I do all of those. Just for you, just because of this, I'm going to do my next research paper on Pages, and I'm going to see how this experience goes. I'll report it back to you. Please
do. Let me know. Also, if you need to do a PowerPoint, Apple actually makes a program called Keynote. Now, what's great about Keynote, I'll give you this little tidbit before I leave, is Keynote is actually a really great program that I've used quite often. And it has something called Keynote Remote. Now, what that does is, let's say that you're giving a presentation, whether it be on your Mac or it is on an iPad or whatever it may be. You can actually use your phone as a remote control in that process. You can use it as a laser pointer in that process. You can use it to look at your notes in the next slide in that process. So you have way more ability to customize it, to flow with it, to have a better experience than you would with a clicker that may or may not work. So I actually got the opportunity to use it for the Aiken County's Chamber of Commerce's big breakfast, Aiken Knows Business. And I got to show it to a lot of folks. There's about 400 500 people in attendance, and it was
Must have
pretty
been.
cool because their clickers did not work, and my phone worked every time. So it was pretty neat. But yeah, if there are any questions, I would love to answer any of those. Or if anybody wants me to go more in depth with how to do something, how to save something, how to export a file, whatever that may be, I'd love to go in that process with you if that is something that you guys have. But you do have to comment.
That sounds good. Well, Chris, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We had Tech 101. If you guys did not know anything about computer and Word programs going out of today, I think you learned a lot. And I think everybody should, at the very least, probably try some of these things that you've recommended. We'll have you back next week. I have an interesting topic that I'm going to recommend to you. So we'll talk about that. And I am going to kick you off. Can we run that little video that you sent me? Can we run the little video about you?
That sounds great.
I love the video. It's a great way to start your day. I felt bad for not running it earlier.
I'll have to send you my new video. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yes, send me your new video. All right, we'll play that next week. Chris Crozier, Mobile Mentors. Check him out at mobilementors.co. He doesn't need the M. He is a technology genius. He took the M out. He no longer needs it. We will see you next week. Thank you so much, Chris.
See you guys.